What up, people? How you doing? My name is Dominic, professional bassist. I've been playing. Excuse all the clothes in the background. That's my wife. Um, I've been playing bass for literally 40 years, professional bassist. Um, I played for a whole lot of artists, maybe probably over 300 or more artists in my career. When I first started out, my first professional gig, I think, was Timothy Wright. I played on his album. There was an album he did with the Ohio Mass Choir called "Been There, Done That." Um, Played with Hezekiah Walker for a while. Yeah, I'm name dropping on video, so you can fact check. I played for Hezekiah Walker in, like, I think it was 1995. How I got that gig was I was playing at New Greater Bethel in Jamaica, Queens, but I was also doing a lot of R&B stuff. There was this guy that played for Hezekiah Walker named Jules Bartholomew and Jason Hendrickson, and they were doing a lot of R&B stuff on the side back then. And they would call me for all the R&B work that they were doing, and that led me, to end up playing for Hezekiah Walker. I played for him for a good while, maybe a year or less. Um, I was playing for him, and they was gonna do the Live in London album, which I was supposed to be on. And I was doing that. I was going to all the rehearsals, and that R&B world started calling. When I was working with Jules Bartholomew and Jason Hendrickson, I was also working with this guy named Big Baby McCleary and Mike Allen, and they were doing a lot of production for R&B artists, like Soul for Real and Horace Brown and so many others. So they pulled me in to the R&B stuff. So I was supposed to do the Live in London album with Hezekiah Walker, but that R&B world started calling, and yo, they were paying. You ain't had to argue or fight about your money. So I had to make a decision, a choice. Hezekiah Walker or the R&B stuff. And the R&B stuff paid really well, so I rolled with that, and I end up not doing the London album. I think I was playing with Hezekiah Walker for a little while before that London album, and there's certain guys that started to come around. Then I think it was Devery Pugh, and I started to see what's his name, FX. They call him. He played keyboard, and that was the first time I started to see them come around. So they were coming in, and I was out R&B. Um, but in the beginning of my career, I was playing bass. I was playing for Hezekiah Walker with a bass that cost $100. Before I played with Hezekiah Walker, there was a guy named Reggie Parker that was playing. For some reason, he stopped playing for them. I don't know what the reason was, and then I was pulled into that. And I was doing shows with Hezekiah Walker with a bass that cost $100. Um, I played for Timothy Wright for a while. Did an album with him. I think it was the Ohio Mass Choir. The album was called "Been There, Done That." I played on that recording with a bass that was $100. So the point of this video is how to get a cheap bass to sound like an expensive bass. I also played with Darryl McCleary and Mike Allen on a lot of R&B stuff that they were doing with Little Mo, and it was a group called Envy, Ja Rule, who else? It was Ja Rule, En Vogue. I did a movie soundtrack. The movie was called Why Do Fools Fall in Love. The song was called No Fool No More by En Vogue. The bass I was playing cost $100. So I was making thousands of dollars with a bass that was $100. So there was times in my career I spent $5,000 on the bass. But at this point in my life, I refused to spend over $400 for a bass because I've been playing bass so long, I don't even EQ a bass. I just pick up and play. This bass I have paid $100 for. Brought it from a guy named Devery Pugh, and this bass was $100. And the point of this video is I'm going to give bass players some tips on how to make a cheap bass sound like an expensive bass. All right. I'm going to start with a groove. Doesn't sound like $100 bass, right? But the way that I do it, right, is I'm plucking with this finger, but I'm muting with the middle finger. So where my pointer finger goes, that middle finger goes and just lays on the string, and you get like a muted type sound or a percussive sound. And if I don't use this finger to mute, I shorten my notes. And then you hear a percussive sound, which, you know, adds to the tone. I'm not trying to be perfect. Just trying to get a point across. All right. So if you don't mute, you shorten the notes. Or so I could pick up a $100 bass, a $50 bass, and make it sound like, you know, it costs something. So once again, if I don't mute, I shorten the notes and don't let it ring too much.